your beliefs on transgenderism.
Mhm.
Are they supported only by religious beliefs, or is there other reasons as well?
Yeah, so I actually have a sister. Well, technically she's my cousin.
Okay.
She was a girl for about 12 years of her life, and it's been about 3 since she has been identifying as a guy, and then changing her name, changing pronouns, changing the way she looks, how she dresses. And to me, I feel like that's just always left a bad taste in my mouth, because I've known a sister for 12 years, and now all of a sudden now I have a brother, which is that's not who I remember.
Okay.
And for me, I feel like it's pretty young to be doing something like that too. Like, I know that lots of people are pushing.
So she was like 12.
Yep.
12 years old. Okay.
12. I don't know who she got the idea from, like where that came from, but I know for me, I feel like it's too young. Like, as soon as you like hit 18, I feel like then you can like start like doing what you please, like. But I feel like for me, like, because she is already saying that she wants to get like surgeries, and for me that's not something that should be done on kids.
Okay. Gotcha. So at 18, would a surgery be okay? Or
If that's what she really wants and she has the money for it, then I can't stop her.
Okay.
But like, I'm never gonna tell someone that, oh yeah, you should definitely do that,
Okay.
because I don't think that's right. Like, you shouldn't be changing what God made you.
It sounds like this is relatively emotional for you. Are you okay with proceeding?
Yeah,
Okay.
for sure.
Just wanted to make sure. I guess let's try to I'd like to get this a little bit more concise. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If I misrepresent you, please tell me. It sounds like you're saying that if a person is born female, and then they are female and are not ever male, or that, I guess, that ideology of them claiming to be male would be incorrect. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah.
So like transgenderism doesn't exist? Is that a fair statement?
For me, like, I don't think
That's what you
should. Yeah,
that's
like,
what you believe.
it obviously exists, but
Oh, right. It's a word that exists.
Yeah.
But you don't believe that you can transition from one gender to another?
No.
Okay, gotcha. And how confident are you that this is the case?
Well, this is the first generation that's ever done that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but like, I don't know of any things in the
I'm
past.
not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know
on that one.
But like, for me, it just feels like people nowadays just are getting like, they're unhappy with themselves. They're having more time to think. They're online, and now they just feel like, oh, I feel like I should be a boy, or I feel like I shouldn't be born. Like, I was not supposed to be born a girl.
Okay.
Like,
so I feel like they were born in the wrong body.
Like
Okay.
that. I feel
you don't
like
think
that
that's
just doesn't.
possible?
No.
Okay.
Like, yeah, you can be like, you can dress like more like guyish. Like, that's what my sister did for probably from like, she already started getting tendencies like that at like age like 8 probably. She wasn't like playing with like she wasn't playing with like girl stuff. She wasn't hanging out with like a lot of girls, but like, I don't feel like that should be a reason that you should just be like, oh, I should be a guy. Like, I don't have many girlfriends. Like, I don't like girl things. Like,
okay. If your cousin or anyone, doesn't matter, if they were to say, I like recognize that my genitals are this,
Yeah.
and I recognize that my genes are this, whatever, right? This sex, that sex.
Yep.
But my brain is a different gender than the rest. Would you believe that that's an impossibility?
Well, I feel like you might be able to like have doubts, but
I guess is there a difference between a male brain and a female brain?
yeah. But that just goes to show like you can't like switch that, like,
Right.
and especially for people who are also just not even transitioning from male to female, like they think that they can be something else.
Right.
That is especially
If someone were to say, like, I was born female, let's say, and everything about me, happens to be female, but my brain is actually male. Do you think that that's a possibility?
well, that's what God made you. Like
Okay.
God doesn't just put a female brain inside a guy's body. Like that just doesn't happen.
Okay. Is there anything that you could learn that might that could change your mind to believing that could be the case?
I don't think so because I live with one of them, like one of the people who transitioned,
Yeah.
and I see how they think. I see their thought process, and they just try to jump through as many hoops as possible, and they don't take a second to think about their morals, like. Because I know my sister has plenty of people telling her no, like this isn't a good idea,
Yeah.
but she never takes the like initiative in her head to think maybe this isn't like what I'm supposed to be doing, like because I've grown up in like a religious household, obviously from the stuff we talked about before,
Yeah.
and so she's been along the same stuff as me. We've gone to church, we've gone to this, she knows what like is like how God like has made her, and she's accepted God into like she's accepted Christ,
Okay.
which to me doesn't make sense. Like how can, if you're not accepting Christ, how can like if you're accepting Christ, how can you go against like what he created you like with
So like she's committing a sin.
correct,
Okay.
like she's going against like what he made her to be.
Okay. Gotcha.
Like that wasn't his plan for her.
Is this believing that your beliefs on transgenderism, are they supported only by religious beliefs, or is there other reasons as well?
Well, religion is definitely why I believe in it, but I feel like there's definitely people that's just how they're like they've grown up with like that's their like the background, like their family ancestry. Everyone just we're traditional. We're not gonna be like
If you
transitioning. Like
if you didn't have your belief in God,
yeah,
do you think you'd feel differently about transgenderism?
for sure.
Okay.
I feel that these things are being pushed on me by my religion, like, and if you don't follow religion, then you can just be subject to anything. Like, if you don't have anything you believe in, then you'll be up and open to anything, and you'll be like persuaded to follow things that aren't like.
Can someone who's not religious believe in true things with good reason?
They can believe in true things, but for me, that's not, in my opinion, like, they're, like, God is, like, what created everything, so,
Yeah. Okay. I guess since religion is the main reason for your belief in regards to transgenderism,
Yeah.
you want to take a few moments to talk about that?
Sure.
I guess you believe. I think you mentioned you were Catholic.
Technically I go to a non-denominational church,
Oh, okay.
so it's like,
My bad. I don't know where I got that from.
yeah,
Must be thinking of someone else I talked to earlier. Okay, so Christian, I would assume.
yeah.
What makes you think that the Bible is true?
Because I feel like it's just something that's been around for like ages. Like, how can something that's not like written by God like just randomly be written by some random person? You know, like obviously the Bible is made up of lots of different people, like, and how like God is like worked through them and stuff, and like because like it's obviously New Testament, Old Testament, and how split up like that. So I feel like that's just how I've been like brought up,
Okay.
and because obviously there's other religions like Islam and like
Yes.
so like that do still believe in God, but it's just slightly like it's slightly different in their beliefs, like.
Okay.
And I feel like I'd definitely be open to exploring different religions, but that's just how I was raised, like through the Bible.
Okay. Should we be confident in a belief just because we were raised in that belief?
Well, I definitely feel it plays a part, like, because obviously how I was raised is what's been ingrained in my brain,
Of course.
since day one.
Does that make it true?
It doesn't always make it true, no. But once you have been around it for so long, you can kind of, like, it makes sense to you why it's right. Like, because it's not like you just go to class and you just know, like, about math, like, from day one. Like, obviously I've been in math class since, like, kindergarten, but that doesn't mean I know all about math. Like,
Right.
I have to still learn and put the pieces together, and that's what I'm still doing right now. And for Christianity, I feel like there can be some wavering beliefs, and that's why people don't choose to follow it, and that's how you get people like my sister who were Christians to now being transitioning.
If there was, like, let's say someone came up here and they were born, like, in East Asia, and they were born, like, in a Hindu family,
Yep.
and they were to come up and they were to say, well, this is how I was raised, and, you know, growing up and becoming a young adult, you know, I can see it all around me, and I just, you know, can obviously see that Hinduism and the multiple gods of Hinduism and Vishnu are real. Would that be a good reason to believe that?
What's a good reason? Because they're around it?
Okay.
Like, a good reason, like, because they've been grown up in it?
Like a reason that they can rely on to, you know that it's true. Yeah, they're growing up, seeing things around them and how they kind of get put together.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to, like, change their opinion, because I know that's who they are, and they've obviously put the time in to decide that this is what's true.
Yeah.
And I believe that any religion, if they take the time to learn something else, that their opinions can get changed.
Of course.
And that's why, for me, like Christianity, that's why I would be definitely open to going against my, like, original beliefs.
Okay, so you're kind of open-minded and...
Yeah, for, like, other religions, like,
Okay.
but I don't know of any other religion that believes in transforming.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I know there's obviously religious folk who do, right?
Who what?
Who are in support of transgender folk, right?
Yeah, but then I don't know if they should be considering themselves as religious, because
Possibly.
that's not part of their
Yeah,
religion.
I think that's a fair point. I understand that. I guess it depends on the religion. There might be religion doctrine that doesn't really mention anything in regards
That's
to
true.
gender, right?
That is true, because if there is nothing on it, then they pretty much just have free reign of their choice.
Can someone, is it always a choice, or should they be, can someone just evaluate like evidence?
Well, I feel like it's a choice to evaluate the evidence. Like,
Choice to evaluate? So,
like, because if I were to just say no, I'm not, like, there's evidence that there's multiple gods, like, then I'd just be like, oh no, that's not true. But if I actually take the time and be like, oh, yeah, this might actually be something that's true, like, and then I'm gonna go and look into that, because I'm not just gonna be stuck, rooted in something that could be wrong, you know.
okay. How could you know if your current beliefs in, the Bible being true,
Yep.
how could you know if you were mistaken?
If I see, like, evidence that there's not just one God, and, like,
Okay.
I feel like, I don't know, like, could you explain more?
Yeah, like, I guess what evidence would you need to see? What could you learn?
That, like, Christianity's not, like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a good question. I feel like I'd have to do a little bit more digging on, like,
That's totally fair.
because I can't think. I wish I had, like, an example, like, to give you, but
Yeah. Yeah, that would be great.
yeah, I'd have to think of, like, why, why it might be, like, wrong, I guess.
Sure.
But
Like overall, like if there was the Hindu guy who came up, or
Mhm.
somebody else,
Yeah.
whoever, should we believe in things until we discover something that disproves it, or something else that goes against it?
I feel like you should always believe in something. Like, I feel like you shouldn't just be a leaf blowing in the wind to whatever. I feel like you should definitely have something where you stand from day one. But then, as you get older, you definitely experience, like, more things. Like, obviously coming here was a big step, because there's multitudes of people and what they believe in.
Very diverse, right?
Yeah. And so I put myself in this scenario, like,
That's great.
I'm open to finding new things and finding things that maybe oppose Christianity, because I wouldn't just want to be that one person who just does not budge. Like,
Okay.
even
You want
though
to keep an
you're-
open mind?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Okay. I guess if a Hindu person were to come over and they were to say, like, yeah, I believe in this, and until I come up with a piece of evidence that goes against it, I'm always going to stay believing in Hinduism. But and then they can't really think of any evidence that they could, find or learn or observe, whatever. Do you think that they should be in that type of mindset, or where should we be?
Like, you're saying, like, but are they, like, open to learning new stuff?
Yeah. Let's say they're open to it, but they definitely won't change their mind. They won't. They're gonna always believe in Hinduism unless they encounter something that goes against. Let's say they don't even have any reasons to believe in Hinduism, just that they grew up in it. But they will believe in Hinduism until they encounter something that contradicts it, I guess. Is that is that a good mindset? Is that if they want to believe in true things, is that where they should be?
Well, obviously that's what they've been following, like, most of their life.
Right.
And so if they're willing to change how they're living their lives, because religion is, like, a part of your life, and it makes up what you do. And so if they're content, like, they see that, like, it's coming to fruition in their lives, like, they're they're content, like they're I guess they're just living, like, and if that's what they're like standing for, then I feel like that's like I shouldn't try to change them if they don't want to. If let's say a Hindu person that isn't content in their lives and they are struggling, then I feel like they should
May
definitely
wanna.
like I feel like it's my duty almost to try and help them.
How much should we, and maybe even you specifically, you can answer it however you want, value believing in things that are true?
Like how should I place that? Like if
Yeah, how important is that?
how important is the truth?
Believing in things that are true. Having only true beliefs as opposed to false beliefs.
Well, I feel like it's different for every person what their false beliefs are. Like it's not really fair for me to say, like, if your religion's like you're believing in something that's false. Obviously, I might like think that it's false because that's my Christianity. But I'm not gonna be like, oh, you're wrong. Like you should not be doing that. Like,
Are they actually wrong? Or can we have two contradicting religious beliefs and have them both be true? Or is someone,
I don't think so.
okay, someone's right and someone's wrong?
Well, obviously, we don't know what happens. Like we don't know what's like. No one ultimately knows like what is gonna happen to you like after you die, or like no one knows what actually like how the earth was created and stuff like that.
Right.
But obviously, we can believe. We can follow the religion that makes most sense to us. And so if they believe that like there's three gods, or that
I think it's more than three, but that's okay.
yeah my bad if I
No
like,
worries, no worries.
yeah, like
no worries.
if there's like more than one, I guess I should say,
Yeah.
then or if like they think that the Big Bang created the earth, like obviously I'm gonna think it's false because that's my religion. But
Sure.
if they're, like I said before, I'm open to changing my belief, my truths.
I guess if we don't know for sure, like you said, nobody really knows until we die.
Yeah.
Right. I guess keeping that in mind, I guess where should our confidence be in a religious belief? Should we be very confident? Should we be not so confident?
Well, if it's your religion, then you should definitely be confident because that's what you've put the puzzles together. Like you've made the pieces, and if you have one piece that's not there, like if you are like, oh, I don't know if, like, would we actually go to heaven if we die? Like then you're open to change. Then you have more things you need to learn.
Could someone have those puzzle pieces, put them together, it makes sense to them and everything, and have that belief be not true, be false?
Like you're saying, like it's not, ultimately at the end of the day, it's not true.
Right, that particular religious belief is not true.
I mean, for me, I'd say that it's not true, but like that's just like it goes back to like how open people are to changing, I guess.
Yeah.
Because if you like, I would say I have most of the puzzle pieces together for Christianity, but if like someone says, "Oh, you actually get like reincarnated, like you don't just go to heaven,"
Yeah. Yeah,
Like-
that's a good example.
like then I would ask them why. Like what do you believe that makes that like true to you?
Yeah.
And so then I would be open to hearing what they say, and if that makes more sense to me, then by all means, like that might become my truth then,
Okay.
and then I'd have a new puzzle.
Okay. Fantastic.
But I feel like that's my job to help people either make a new puzzle or help other Christians to,
to complete their puzzle.
yeah.
Okay. I guess you said you'd ask them kind of like, I think you said like, why do you believe that you're reincarnated or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you obviously believe in the heaven and hell, I would assume.
Yeah.
I guess what makes you believe that?
Well, because we know that Satan was an angel before. He was one of God's
God's
angels,
angel,
and
yeah.
so then once he tried to rebel, then he created his own hell, where the people that don't believe in God, that's what he takes all those people, because if you believe in God and you accept Christ, then you deserve to live in His kingdom forever.
Okay, gotcha. And why do you believe that? I'm assuming this all goes back to the Bible, I would assume.
Yeah.
That's where that information. Okay, just making sure. Why do you believe that the Bible gets that correct?
Honestly, it's just like what I've read,
What do you read?
like on how obviously I believe that the stories in there are true, like that that like he came down, like he sent his son to like die on the cross for us, and like that's just sorry, I've got off track.
How do we know that the Bible gets that right, the heaven and hell correct, like factually correct?
Yeah, that's because that's part of our belief too. Like
Yeah.
we put almost our faith in God. That's why we give what did I say before? We give like accept Christ.
Yeah.
So that's, to me, that's part of our faith is.
Okay.
We've read the Bible. We know, like we've seen time and time again of people who don't accept their lives or accept them to Christ, and
I'm going to try to repeat back what I'm hearing, because I'm getting a little bit lost.
Yeah,
so I'd asked how we know the Bible gets it right.
Yeah.
And then I think you said because Jesus, God's son, died on the cross, because it says that in the Bible.
Yeah.
So you believe the Bible is true because of what was written in the Bible?
Yeah. So I guess that's just like my faith, I guess. Like that's just one of the puzzle pieces, I guess.
Okay. If there was a Hindu student who came up and he said that reincarnation is true because of his Hindu texts and because he read it in whatever text that is, and I'm sitting here listening to you and listening to him, how do I know who's correct?
Well, whichever one makes sense to you.
What if I just want to believe in what is true and I really don't know which one? I can't decide. I just want to believe which one ever is true.
Well, then that's your job then to figure out, like, if you really want to believe in something, like if you want to put your faith in something, then
is faith the only way to know?
To only know
what is true about either reincarnation or heaven and hell.
Yeah, I feel like your faith that's what makes up most of religion is your faith, because you're putting your faith and you're dedicating your life, like, pretty much.
If faith can come to two different conclusions, reincarnation and heaven and hell,
yeah,
how do we know, is it really a good way to know which is true if we can come to multiple conclusions?
Like, is it like a good thing to do? Like,
good tool to use to figure out what is true?
Is faith a good tool?
Yeah, if it can come to multiple different conclusions, right?
Well, each faith is different.
Oh, okay. So a Hindu faith would be different?
in my opinion, yeah, because your
Okay.
faith is like
Yeah.
his faith is gonna be in
The
that I get reincarnated when I die, but my faith is
yeah, like the conclusion is different.
yeah,
That's what you're saying?
yeah,
But I guess the method is pretty much the same, right?
yeah.
I guess using faith as a method, why would I want to use that if it might lead me to multiple different conclusions, you know? How would I, like if I, let's say I wanted to use faith to figure out whether reincarnation is real or heaven and hell is real, why would I use that tool if it's going to point me in two contradicting ways?
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Okay, good.
I would just. I'm not really sure how to answer that because obviously people have their own conclusions, and I guess it just boils down to that's that's what I that's what I believe in, and like I said before, like I'm up to believing in like switching my faith or
Gotcha.
like believing in something that might make more sense.
All right. I'm gonna let this gentleman
Yeah.
chit chat a minute. I think I've asked plenty of good questions and maybe gave you a little bit to think about.
Yeah, definitely for sure.
Have you? And I asked one last question, and then I'll let you ask anything you want to ask me.
Yeah.
Have you learned anything new? Any confidence shifts? Anything about yourself or anything? And I'm just wrapping up here.
Definitely like where I stand, like right now. Like I feel like I should definitely feel like it's easy to just go about your day and like not challenge any thoughts. And just be like just plug into the society and just do what you normally do. So I feel like it's definitely good on you for making people like challenge their thoughts because that's ultimately what we have to do nowadays because once they're plugged in, it's kind of hard to unplug.
Yeah, we sometimes need to take a step back and critically evaluate why we believe something. Awesome. Any questions for me?
I don't think so. But like, how long are you gonna be here?
Probably till around 4 o'clock. I don't know what time it is now.
You can check. Oh, it's 1. Is it actually 1? Oh, I gotta go.
All right. Here, I got to give you a card. That's my channel. Do you want a keychain? I can grab you a keychain.
Sure.
It's got the Street Epistemology logo.
I was like, oh, there's a little more than 10 minutes.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry.
You could have bowed out at any time. I should have made that clear. Here's a little keychain for you.
Appreciate it.
All right, thanks for stopping by. That was great.
Nice to meet you.